We have another update on Ben Askren. Ben's wife Amy posted this to her social media last night. She wrote, "I haven't heard an update because Ben has been in limbo for a while, and I was hoping to have him wake up and be the one to decide what to share. I've had some media people contact me that they're going to share an update, and I would rather it come from me. Ben is still on a ventilator and ECMO to support him while he heals. There are good days and bad, but on the good, they have been able to wean his sedation enough for him to open his eyes and squeeze hands. His body can't handle coming off sedation too much yet. I'm still praying for a miracle with his current lungs, but they are currently starting the evaluation process for a lung transplant. Please pray for his continued healing, and if transplant is the solution, that he can get on the list quickly and easily. I know transplants are such a blessing, and I'm overwhelmed at the thought of him receiving a gift like that. No one would take better care of that gift than Ben. Thank you for every message and all of the support. Despite this awful situation, I'm feeling so blessed by the community we're surrounded by. Give your loved ones a hug today, and make sure you're prepared for situations like this. Ben is the healthiest guy I know, and I never could have expected this." Fight announcements. Today, Dana White announced some major fights for UFC Abu Dhabi next month.
What's up, everybody? UFC President Dana White here to talk to you about one of the most fight nights of the year, happening live and free on ABC, the network, July 26th from Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Here we go. In the main event, we have number 5 ranked Robert Whittaker taking on Reinier de Ridder. Whittaker, a former UFC middleweight champion, you all know he's been in some of the best fights in middleweight history, and now intends on being the first guy to beat de Ridder in the UFC. De Ridder is a former middleweight and light heavyweight world champion and has finished everyone he has fought in the UFC. He's coming off a win over the top prospect in the sport, Bo Nickel. If de Ridder can beat Whittaker, it's very likely he'll be fighting for the number 1 contender bout next. I am pumped for this fight because these guys are both killers and they always come out and deliver. In the co-main event, we have another 5-round fight between number 4 ranked Movsar Evloev taking on the guy most people consider to be the top free agent in the world, Aaron Pico. Evloev is undefeated at 19-0 and one of the most intimidating guys at featherweight. Aaron Pico is a ridiculously violent striker and a very high-level grappler. Pico has had hype behind him since he was a teenager because of his skill and fighting style, which people compare him to the likes of Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier. If Movsar can get the victory, he will likely be the next contender for the title against Alexander Volkanovski. Expect this fight to be an absolute war. Just added, former UFC champion and number 3 ranked bantamweight in the world, Petr Yan, will be taking on the very explosive Marcus McGee, who earned this fight by going 4-0 in the UFC with 3 finishes and 3 post-fight bonuses. Also, Bryce Mitchell is making a big move down to the bantamweight division and will debut against the always dangerous Saeed Nurmagomedov, the cousin of Khabib. Shara Bullet is back and will fight Marc-Andre Barriault, which should be an incredible matchup. And top-ranked light heavyweight Nikita Krylov puts his 93% finish rate against the 100% finish rate of the absolutely terrifying Bogdan Guskov. Ladies and gentlemen, live and free on ABC, the network, July 26th from Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. I will see you there.
We got some more fight announcements for you guys. Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov has been moved from UFC 317 to UFC 318. It was reported that Costa pulled out due to illness. However, on X last night, he responded to this post. It says, "Why you pull out?" Paulo responded saying, "I didn't. I was reallocated monkey for business strategy." Bobby Green versus Diego Ferreira is set for UFC 319 on August 16th. Green is looking to get back in the win column after back-to-back losses. A first-round submission loss to Paddy Pimblett, followed by a first-round KO loss to Mauricio Rufy. Ferreira is coming off a unanimous decision loss to Grant Dawson. Additionally, Edson Barbosa will fight Drakkar Klose at UFC 319. Barbosa is coming off a unanimous decision loss to Lerone Murphy. Klose is coming off a first-round KO loss to Joel Alvarez. Number 1 ranked UFC middleweight Nassourdine Imavov will no longer be the backup fighter for Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. He posted this on X. He said, "No backup anymore. Conditions changed. You wanted to talk, son. I'm here. I'm gonna break you." And he added Caio Bahayo. Caio responded saying, "Finally stopped hiding, huh?" You don't call anything. You do what you're told. You tried to avoid this fight for so long and everybody knows that. Now, you will do exactly what I commanded. Fight me. I make the rules here. Say bye-bye to France. I'm sending you back to Dagestan. Jamahal Hill previews his fight against Khalil Rountree this weekend. Jamahal said he believes he holds the advantage in the matchup and is focused on bouncing back from his recent TKO loss to Yuri Prochazka. His goal is to make his way back to a shot at the light heavyweight title.
He's always dangerous, you know. He throws with a lot of power, a lot of ferocity. He likes to be very, very aggressive. He's kind of ruthless in the way that he comes at his opponents. So you got to be aware of that. But for me, he's got to worry about everything. You know, I have my own ferocity. I have my own, you know, speed. I believe I'm faster. You know, I'm the taller, longer fighter, and I believe I have more experience against better competition. Sweet Dream's back. Sweet Dream's coming back to form, getting back to that championship form, and just back to dominance. That's the main thing I look to get back to. You know, I've had me and Yuri had a fun war back and forth, you know, in that fight, and I mean, ultimately it didn't turn out my way. But I'm looking to return to dominance to where I was before.
Alex Pereira shows that he is currently weighing 243 pounds right now.
Libra, apesar que a gente está no PI, base oficial, vamos ver aqui. O Play fala do pesado, pô, sei não, vamos ver. Pô, em quilo dá quanto aqui, primeiro?
Caralho, mano.
Em quilo dá quanto?
Dá uns 110 pra mais aí, velho, bro. So 43 big heavyweight size,
mas
bro.
De tênis, joia.
Heavyweight, bro.
Tênis, joia.
Peso pesado, patrão. Chama.
Conor McGregor was involved in a physical altercation at a club in Ibiza last night. Footage released by The Sun shows Conor standing on a platform, speaking to a man before suddenly throwing a left hand, while still holding his drink in his right. He then followed up with another left hand that appeared to knock the man out. Footage is also going around of Conor before this incident happened. He's filming himself and a friend in the mirror and appears to be pretty intoxicated. It's still unclear what sparked this incident, and Conor has yet to release a statement. Given the circumstances, a lawsuit seems likely. We'll keep you updated as more details emerge. Recently, Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendez revealed that he believes Islam will fight 3 more times and then retire. Speaking to Submission Radio, Javier said, "I'm anticipating we'll see Islam hopefully for maybe another 3 fights total. Let's see who's in the works on that, if we get by JDM." Daniel Cormier gave his take on this. He says MMA fans should be worried because when we saw Khabib talking like that, he walked away and never looked back.
Islam Makhachev might have 3 fights, including Jack Della Maddalena. That right there is where our energy should be spent as Islam fans. How in the world does it feel like another dominant champion may be saying it's about time? Why? He's young. He's the world champ. He's dominating. He's getting an opportunity to become a double champ. Why? I think that we are in a time right now in fighting that for me as a fan is very sad. I don't believe for a second though that it's going to change, but when they all start to walk away, it's sad for the fan. But Islam only has 3 fights. It's scary to me because I know, knowing these guys, the only saving grace right now is that someone else is saying it for him and he has not said that himself. If Islam comes out and tells us, I've got 3 fights left, we should all go, man, we got to lock in. We saw Khabib do it and he never looked back. That should be worrisome to us as mixed martial arts fans. We have so many more fights that we want these guys to fight. We want to see him against Jack Della. We want to see him against Usman, and we want to see him against Ilia Topuria. It's crazy.
Matt Brown believes Francis Ngannou tarnished his legacy by leaving the UFC. As most of you know, Francis left after successfully defending his heavyweight title against Ciryl Gane. He then went on to box Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, losing to Fury via split decision and losing to Joshua via knockout in the 2nd round. Matt Brown praises Francis for making millions of dollars boxing, but thinks his legacy will suffer because of it. Brown said legacy-wise, he's already forgotten in terms of the heavyweight division in MMA. Legacy-wise, I think it damaged his legacy tremendously. Had he won those boxing matches, that would have obviously helped his legacy a ton. For instance, after he fought Tyson Fury the first time, and a lot of us believe that he won, it was pretty close, debatable, but I would argue he probably won. I don't think anybody was arguing that it was a bad move at that point. It was after he lost and now the UFC is like, whatever bro, do your thing. Now everybody is asking if it was a mistake, but he made more money in those 2 matches than he would have made fighting in the UFC for the next 10 years. Was it a mistake on that part? No, but his legacy is going to suffer. He's not going to be in the talks for the best heavyweight ever, period. Alexander Volkanovski gives his take on Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the title. Volk explains why he thinks JDM will be extremely difficult to take down, especially after just beating Bilal Muhammad and stuffing so many of his takedowns.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Bilal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. You know, I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, you know, worried about, you know, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. You know, only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Kamaru Usman did an interview with TMZ Sports today and doubled down on his recent call-out of Dricus du Plessis. After his dominant performance over Joaquin Buckley last weekend, Usman wants to fight the winner of the welterweight title fight between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. If he wins, he plans to vacate the belt and move up to middleweight. Usman said after getting the welterweight belt, they have asked and waited for years for me to go up and get the middleweight belt. I will relinquish that if Dricus du Plessis is still the champion. All African card. Africa versus Africa. First card in Africa. UFC is close to getting that done. South Africa versus Nigeria. It's a rivalry that's been built forever. If things start to fall in line, I think we're going to see a pretty interesting next 18 months. Dana White went on the Jim Rome show and spoke on Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, and we still don't have any answers. Dana said Jon Jones has never turned down an opponent here or been afraid to fight anybody. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. If we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly. We'll have answers in the next couple weeks. After that interview aired, Tom Aspinall posted this on Threads. He wrote, "Training for so many different opponents can be hard work. Trilogy against Blaydes?" And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's in reference to Rose Namajunas receiving $500,000 for her win over Miranda Maverick at UFC Atlanta. It says, paying Rose that much is a genuine joke that ain't funny. The second one says O'Malley needs to fire Tim and go train with Trevor Whitman. And the final one's from Eric. It says, how Rose gets paid more than Kamaru is ridiculous. He was the freaking main event and won too. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.